It's going to be about 3 hours and 40 minutes after the scheduled start time is the condition of the playing surface, and we have our Luke Stuckmeyer actually standing on that surface. Luke, take it away.
Len, you have to give a big hats off to Roger Barrett and this grounds crew. Just a couple of hours ago, where I'm standing right now was probably shin deep in water all the way from home plate all the way out to left field, and the same thing down the right field line. So there was a lot of water on the field. They've done a lot of work. They've gotten this ready, and of course the new drainage system has done its job. Field looks like it's good, in good condition. The players gave me a thumbs up on that. Now if we can just avoid the next storm.
That would be nice. Thank you, Luke. And let's check out our Menards grounds crew doing a wonderful job all day. And I mean, that's what Luke was talking about. But the key is the infield. Once you keep that dry, you can deal with the rest around the warning track.
Well, you're obviously most concerned about the batters in the box, and particularly the pitcher on the mound. If he loses footing out there, has trouble getting a grip, obviously you would endanger players. The outfielders are going to have to deal with some wet grass. The warning track is very muddy, but the infield surface, the mound and home plate look great.
So the Cubs behind Paul Maholm have taken the field. Now the Diamondbacks Southwest starting lineup. They went into the All-Star break on a 3-game winning streak. All those games against first place Los Angeles. So that was big for them. Willie Bloomquist at third. Aaron Hill at second. Justin Upton, big topic in terms of trade rumors. Jason Kubel's in left. Paul Goldschmidt at first. You've got Miguel Montero behind the plate. The struggling Chris Young in center. Stephen Drew back off the DL. And Ian Kennedy the pitcher.
And let's take a look at the Cubs defensively here. Almost evening. Alfonso Soriano in left. David DeJesus in center field. Brian LaHare over in right. Luis Balbuena and Starlin Castro on the left side of the infield. Darwin Barney and Anthony Rizzo on the right side. Giovanni Soto doing the catching for left-hander Paul Maholm. Mentioned that rough outing against the Diamondbacks in Arizona. Gave up 9 hits and 6 earned runs in only 3 1/3, but came right back with 2 outstanding starts against the Astros and the Braves. Gave up only 1 earned run in those 2 starts. And his most recent appearance for the Cubs was his very first career relief appearance.
And a member of the 2011 World Series umpiring crew, Ted Barrett, will handle the plate. Marvin Hudson, Brian Runge, and crew chief Tim McClelland are around the bases. So it is Willie Bloomquist to start it. This is technically a day game because of the scheduled 1:20 first pitch. Usually games that start after 5 o'clock are considered evening games. And here we go. Cornerman in against Bloomquist as he takes a strike fastball outside corner. Started at exactly 5 o'clock, so the rain delay was 3:40. 81 degrees. And would you believe a north wind? 7 miles an hour.
Now, we've had a wind blowing out of every possible direction at one point or another this afternoon. As that storm blew through, obviously the flags changed directions. The rain stopped. The flags changed directions again. And now we have a very cool breeze blowing in from the north.
Well, Hollum's 2-1 is popped up right side. Rizzo over near the barrier, but no play. Cubs got swept in Arizona in June. They were outscored 21-7 in that series. And the cooling misters on the concourse behind the bleachers. Full count with Aaron Hill, who owns 2 cycles this year, is on deck. Out in the left center, and that ball is going to go to the wall. And Bloomquist has a leadoff double.
Bloomquist has had the majority of the playing time at shortstop with Stephen Drew on the disabled list, but since Stephen Drew has returned, Bloomquist slides over to third base, and Starts this ball game with a ringing double into the gap in left center field.
Well, they can score runs in bunches. Right now they rank 14th in the bigs in runs as Hill drops down a bunt. The ball just dies and Mulholland's going to have to eat it. That's a perfect bunt by Aaron Hill.
Unusual to see Kirk Gibson bunt this early in the ball game, but with possible rains coming in the very near future, perhaps he's just thinking about playing for a run early, get a lead, and then let Mother Nature do what she will. But you couldn't roll it out there any better than Aaron Hill did right there.
There's Gibby, last year's National League Manager of the Year. It was a tough year for his team. Just haven't been terribly consistent. Right now a game under 500, but very much in it. Only 4 games out and in 3rd place in the West. Here's Justin Upton. And he takes it low for ball 1. Everything you read about the Diamondbacks starts with, will Kevin Towers trade Justin Upton? Paul Mulholland may not mind it. They traded him right now during this at bat. This is what he did against him in Arizona.
I'll tell you what, if Kevin Towers and the Diamondbacks decide to part ways with Justin Upton, there will be a laundry list of teams lined up to talk to the Diamondbacks. This kid's only 24 years old.
There's a double play ball. It'll go 6-4-3. Bloomquist is in. No RBI for Upton, and it's 1-0 Diamondbacks.
Well, it cost the Cubs a run right there, but double play virtually guaranteeing it won't be a big inning for the visiting Diamondbacks.
Cubs now have an 8-game double play streak. Brings up Jason Kubel. They have a few guys in their lineup who had all-star caliber first halves but didn't make the cut. Kubel's one of those guys.
Drove in 60 in the first half of the season to go along with 15 home runs, hit 293. Played stellar defense. I think that was the biggest surprise, that Kubel has done as well as he has with the leather. 11 outfield assists already.
That was the most by a National League outfielder in the first half since 2006. Well, welcome back, partner. You had a long all-star break. You look refreshed, relaxed, and ready to get back to work.
Well, it's good to be back. Thank you to Todd Hollandsworth for pinch hitting while I was back in Knoxville watching the Smokies play 6 ball games. They went 3-3, so I could have done a little better.
Fouled back.
It was hot in Tennessee.
It was hot everywhere. Atlanta and then New York.
Whew. Boy, a huge tip of the cap. Luke mentioned the grounds crew here at Wrigley Field, but how about these fans sitting through a 3-hour rain delay?
Not too many empty seats as we get started. 3 hours and 40 minutes late. Arizona gets 1. The Cubs are coming up. Hander Ian Kennedy after the Diamondbacks gave him a 1-0 lead. Cubs scored 16 runs, winning 2 of 3 in New York before the break. De Jesus, Castro, Rizzo at the top. Soriano, Laher, Soto in the middle. Barney, Valbuena, and Mahalam at the bottom.
Here's how the Diamondbacks will line them up defensively. Kubel, Young, and Upton left to right across the outfield. Bloomquist, Drew, Hill, and Goldschmidt third to first across the infield. Miguel Montero doing the catching today for right-hander Ian Kennedy.
21-game winner last year, 6-7 in the first half this season. And ball one to De Jesus, high school teammate of Cubs injured third baseman Ian Stewart. And a pop fly out toward Upton in right. And by the time he catches it, De Jesus is about 4 steps off second base. That's how high he hit it.
Kennedy will rely heavily on his fastball, both a two-seamer and the cutter you see there at the bottom of the column. Has a really good straight changeup. Will mix in an occasional curveball, but really lives and dies with his ability to locate that fastball.
Two-time All-Star Starlin Castro. 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter, played short for the National League. Got a chance to meet Derek Jeter for the first time. That was a thrill. And in his last regular season at bat, he hit a 3-run homer on Sunday in New York. $8-0 the final on Tuesday night. The National League's biggest win ever over the American League. Goldschmidt and Hill, and no play.
We were talking before the ball game, Len, about Justin Verlander's performance in the All-Star game when the Tigers were in to Wrigley Field earlier this year. You had an opportunity to talk to him, and he mentioned the fact that rather than come out blazing with his best fastball early, he's found that he can pitch it 90, 91, 92 early in the ball game and keep that 100-mile-per-hour fastball when he really needed it. Well, I noticed the very first pitch of the All-Star game was 98, followed by a 99. Well, I guess he figures in the short outing of an All-Star game, he better come out with guns blazing, and boy, did the National League make him pay.
Bounce to Drew. And he throws across for the second out. That'll bring up Anthony Rizzo. He had a huge road trip. 12 hits, including 3 homers, 2 doubles, 5 knocked in. He now has 17 hits in 12 games with the Cubs. He had 18 hits in 49 games with the Padres last year.
And may have just enjoyed his final All-Star break. I have a feeling he's going to be extremely busy in years to come.
Two balls, no strikes. Right down the middle on a fastball. Kennedy doesn't walk a lot of people. 23 walks in over 108 innings. 2-2.
The Liberty Mutual pitch tracks will show this one, I believe, off the bottom of the strike zone. That's a pitch that Ian Kennedy wants hitters to swing at right there. A little tailing fastball, a little two-seamer, try to get some ground balls. And that was a straight changeup. When he gets to 2 strikes, he'll try to finish hitters, especially left-handed hitters, with that nasty straight changeup.
Deep breath by Kennedy. Here's a 2-2, and he struck him out on a rising fastball as the Cubs go down in order in the first. 1-0 AZ after 1. That at bat, and you're the expert. Was this a good frame job by Miguel Montero?
Yeah, pretty good. He tries to use the entire length of the catcher's mitt by catching it up near the webbing. That leaves the rest of the mitt up in the strike zone. You get a better look at it from this side. I mean, that mitt, depending on how a catcher breaks it in, it's approximately a foot from the heel of the glove out to the very tip of the webbing. And if you can catch the ball in the webbing and keep the rest of the glove in the strike zone, you can fool a lot of home plate umpires.
Paul Goldschmidt, another one of the Diamondbacks position players who had all-star like numbers, hitting over 300. Big swing and a miss, 0-2. What he's done against lefties. Look at Andrew McCutchen. Ooh. Melky Cabrera.
We talked about Goldschmidt out in Arizona. He is what scouts call country strong. He can miss-hit balls and hit them out of the ballpark.
Holland working quickly, and his 1-2 off the end of the bat and lined out into right center for a base hit.
For a big guy who's known for his power, this is a pretty nice piece of hitting to stay back on an off-speed pitch. Hits it off the end of the bat, but his intention was to drive it to the opposite field, and he comes away with a base hit. Interesting thing at the end of that play, David DeJesus very nearly overran that ball. The slow track in the outfield is really going to slow down balls rolling through the outfield grass.
Now the left-handed hitting catcher, Miguel Montero. Ball 1.
David DeJesus, the captain of the outfielders, in center, moving Brian LaHare over a few steps toward the gap in right center field. You can always get help from the dugout, but man, what an assistance it is for those corner outfielders when your center fielder is so plugged into the game. He knows the opposing hitters, he knows his own pitcher, and moves guys around accordingly, especially a guy like Brian LaHare, who's got limited experience in the outfield.
On run for Barney as he'll flip to Castro, and the turn. Already a couple of double plays. 4-6-3.
This one a little tougher because, as you mentioned, Barney had a long way to go to get to that ball with the shift on, but once he does get to it, Starlin Castro clears the runner. Strong throw on to Rizzo at first base for an easy double play.
2 outs, nobody on, and Chris Young, who was just 2 for his last 26. He takes ball 1 low. I mentioned earlier Paul Maholm has won his last 2 starts and has been very good in both those outings. Well, on Sunday he made his first major league relief appearance, scoreless inning. Line shot, Alfonso Soriano there to make the catch, and Fonzie will lead off the bottom of the second, and the Cubs trailing 1-0. Marlins next Tuesday, July 17th, and help celebrate the 1-year anniversary of Rivers Casino. Game time is 7:05, but get to the ballpark early. The first 20,000 adults 21 and older get a deck of cards and a special offer presented by Rivers Casino. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com.
Very full of jalapeno peppers with a couple of chips in there. Cast iron stomach.
Big cut and a miss by Soriano.
Oh my. Oh. What's this? Get it out of here.
Kennedy's 0-1 is low. We mentioned Ian Stewart went to high school, La Quinta High in California with Ian Kennedy. We have an update on the Cubs third baseman. He did have surgery on his left wrist earlier this week. Be immobilized for 2 weeks, the wrist that is, and then go through 4 to 6 weeks of therapy, and it'll be mid to late August before the Cubs know whether or not Ian will be able to come back this season. Hooked in the left, and Kubel will have to play it on the bounce. Little slip out there, and Soriano has a double. There you go with that wet outfield grass. And for Soriano, that is his 800th career extra base hit.
Yeah, got fooled a little bit that time, but able to extend his swing and get the barrel on it right there. Jason Kubel tries to plant that right foot and throw to second base. They may have had a play on Soriano, but once he stumbled, no chance at second, just lobbed the ball back into third base.
The all-star Brian LaHare thoroughly enjoyed his trip to Kansas City. Played first base late in the game. Went 0 for 1. And swings and misses.
Talking to Brian before the ball game today, he said that before the All-Star game even started, he predicted that if he got an at-bat in the game, it was going to be against Fernando Rodney. He told himself, I'm going to go up there and ambush the first fastball I see. Unfortunately, made out and didn't give the announcers enough time to talk about it. Learned a valuable lesson.
Yeah, you've mentioned that in the past. Big game like that, you want to take a couple of pitches.
Really enjoyed taking in the home run derby with his brother on the field with him. What a great experience.
One and two. Ian Kennedy had a comet of a year last year. I mean, one of those years you probably just will only see once in a career. 21-4. That's really hard to do. Win that many games and only lose 4 times, making 33 starts. Long run Kubel, and he makes a grab for out number 1. And for all that, Kennedy finished 4th in the NL Cy Young balloting, behind Kershaw, Halladay, and Lee.
Pretty good company, but his contributions were definitely recognized. I believe he was 14th in the MVP voting in the National League. It was crazy good numbers last year for the D-backs right-hander.
Been really good after the break. 17 wins since 2010. Post All-Star break. Giovanni Soto high and deep center field, but just onto the track is Young to make the catch. Soriano tagging and heading to third. 2 outs. Gio, if you hit that one in BP at 11, it would have been a home run.
Well, while the rains were falling here, the wind was blowing straight out about 80 miles per hour. That ball ended up out in the lake. Timing is everything. The flags have turned around and helped knock that one down.
Here's a pitch to Darwin Barney. It's a strike. That one gets past. Soriano will try to score. Montero will not even make a throw. We're tied. A wild pitch on Kennedy.
Just pulls the fastball over in that left-handed batter's box. That looked like it got there in the air. Man, that ball needs to be caught right there. Montero tried to go fingers down to block that ball. Would have been much easier just to reach across in that particular case and make a backhanded catch.
Barney out in the right center and down for a hit. Big turnaround first. He's going to hold there with a 2-out single, so he doesn't get the RBI, but Soriano scored during that at bat.
A lot of players initially after the All-Star break, and Darwin Barney included, very excited about his new bat order that he was breaking in during batting practice this afternoon. It's one thing when you get to the major leagues and one of the bat companies asks what kind of bat you like. You give them the length, you give them the weight, you tell them what kind of finish you want on it. Look at this.
Darwin Barney just takes off for second. And picks up a stolen base.
Didn't even have to get his uniform dirty. Took off his. Oh, man. Ian Kennedy just did not pay any attention to Darwin Barney over at first base, and Darwin easily took second base. But finish that thought about the bat orders. After you've been in the big leagues a little while, you can order a particular model, but I'd like you to shave the handle an extra 1/8 of an inch. I'd like a cup at the end of the bat, and I'd like it a little bit deeper than a normal size. You can really get specific with your new bat order, and Darwin Barney was extremely excited about his today.
Meanwhile, 2-0 on Luis Valbuena. The steal for Barney, the 6th of the year for him. He's 6 for 6.
Now, they may pitch very carefully to Luis Valbuena, but you more than likely will not see an intentional walk. Kirk Gibson and the Diamondbacks Only 8 intentional walks all season, by far the lowest in the major leagues. They just believe in going after that number 8 hitter and hopefully having the pitcher lead off the next inning.
Inside corner as Valbuena moves his hands. He gets a golden opportunity here with Ian Stewart out, possibly for the rest of the season. And he's been playing pretty much every day at third base. 3-1. Thought you were going to say they don't want to intentionally walk Valbuena because Mahalam took Kennedy deep in Arizona.
Well, that too.
Swing and a miss on a changeup.
Well, that's a pitch that'll really make you start thinking as a hitter. A 3-1 straight changeup with a base open and the pitcher hitting behind you. Now what is Kennedy going to do on the 3-2 count? Is he going to try to challenge with a fastball or more than likely come back with another off-speed pitch?
There it is. That gets by. Barney will advance. Another wild one.
Don't throw it.
That was a weird night, I mean, to say the least. Mahalam hits the home run, take the lead. Can't get out of the next inning. I believe Ian Kennedy had a 5-run lead right in the 5th inning. Couldn't get through 5 to qualify for the win.
Bizarre night.
Early in that game, the Diamondbacks had a 2-out bunt single with a runner at third and didn't score. It's only 5:30, but the sky is very dark right now. Feels like it should be about 8:30. Mahalam bounces to Goldschmidt. Let's hope we can avoid that rain that seems to be on its way. Cubs tie it up on a wild pitch. It's 1-1 after 2. More on defense. The Cubs with a double play per inning.
At this rate, they'll turn 9 tonight. That was a tougher one. Darwin Barney was playing over in the hole between first and second. Had a lot of ground to cover just to get to that ground ball, but a strong underhand toss on to Castro, who fires a rocket to Rizzo to complete the second double play of the game.
Here's Stephen Drew. Began the season on the DL recovering from right ankle surgery. and returned on June 27th. So Cubs did not see him in that series in Phoenix. Now going back to the Justin Upton trade rumors, Kevin Towers has been pretty clear. If he does consider a trade involving Upton, he's not looking for prospects in return. He wants major leaguers to help this team try to win back-to-back division titles. He is not thinking about the future. They're in the win now mode. You know, I was talking to somebody before the game, Bob. How many baseball trades do you see these days where a big leaguer swapped for a big leaguer? Doesn't happen a lot, not mid-season. But we hear the term impact player. Jason McLeod talks about it a lot. Just after the draft here, and we have info on that relating to the Cubs and signing some of their draft picks. If you're going to trade Justin Upton, you better get an impact player or 3 in return.
Justin Upton is one of those guys, you talk about impact. He impacts a game in a number of different ways. Really good base runner. He can steal a base. Has a cannon for an arm out in right field. Light tower power when he makes contact.
And there's another leadoff hit. 3rd in a row for the Diamondbacks as Drew has a double. We'll put his pitcher Kennedy in a bunting position here with nobody out.
A nice piece of hitting that time by Stephen Drew. You mentioned just back off the disabled list. In his 7 previous starts, the Diamondbacks are only 2-5. But really stayed back well on that breaking pitch from Paul Maholm and kept it fair down the right field line.
Kennedy takes a strike. So the Cubs have signed each of their first 20 picks from this year's draft and 29 players overall. This week they announced they had signed their top pick, Albert Almora, the outfielder out of Florida, the high school outfielder. And today announced that they had signed right-hander Dwayne Underwood, their 2nd round pick. Actually their 4th pick because they had 2 supplemental round picks. Underwood is 17. Out of Pope High School in Georgia. Now 2-1. Well, the Pirates got some bad news for them. Mark Appel, their top pick. He was the 8th overall selection. Many thought he could go number 1. He decided not to sign. He's going to stay at Stanford for his senior year. So they will get, gotta find it, I think the 9th pick in next year's 1st round. Foul. And that's a strikeout.
Maholm able to come back and get Kennedy. That's been a recurring problem for Cubs pitchers this year. When the opposing team wants to give them an out, they just can't seem to throw strikes. But that time Maholm got back into the count and ultimately got Kennedy to foul off for strike 3.
Caught the inside corner on Bloomquist, who doubled to start the game. Played a lot of short when Drew was on the DL. He's playing 3rd today. The block by Soto. Well, partner, it's Friday the 13th. You're slightly superstitious. Did you wake up today going, what's going to happen to me today?
No.
Okay, good.
No. I've lost a lot of my superstition since I'm no longer managing. That's when it about drove me crazy, but not so much anymore.
I found out earlier this week, according to OMGFacts.com, that the 13th day of any month is more likely to be on a Friday than any other day, because of the 400-year cycle of the Gregorian calendar. So over 400 years, there will be 688 Fridays. That'll be the 13th day of the month. A little bit more than Sunday and Wednesday, which check in at 687. So if you live to be 400, you'll have one more Friday the 13th than you will a Wednesday the 13th. That's what I did during my break.
Friday the 13th sabermetrics. I love it. Yeah.
I didn't know this. According to the article, in Spanish-speaking countries, the unluckiest day is Tuesday the 13th.
I never knew that.
That one hit very hard, but De Jesus will make the catch. And Drew has to retreat. 2 outs.
Soccer is back at Wrigley Field for the first time since 1984. Tickets are available now for the international friendly at the confines soccer match between Italy's AS Roma and Poland's Zagłębie Lubin, being played on Sunday, July 22nd at 2:30. A majority of the seats are available for $50 or less. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com/soccer.
Here's Aaron Hill, who bunted his way on in the first inning. Drew led off the frame with a double, but he's still at second with 2 outs. Hill was on the final roster spot vote for the National League All-Star team. Didn't make it. I thought hitting for 2 cycles in a 12-day period would do the trick, but no. Second player in modern history to have 2 cycles in 1 year. Babe Herman, the Brooklyn Robins, did it in 1931.
Thanks. Second among National League second basemen in slugging percentage, third in homers, third in average. He was about as hot as a hitter could possibly be when we saw them down in Arizona earlier. Even his outs were rockets.
High bouncer handled by Castro. The inning is over, so Mahalan works around the leadoff double. 1-1 as we play the third. Next week, celebrate the life of legendary Cubs great Ron Santo at GMC Sportsnet Central. Every night at 10, we relive some of his greatest moments as a Cub and report from the Hall of Fame induction ceremony in Cooperstown. Ron Santo next week on Sportsnet Central, only on Comcast Sportsnet. They should call it Sportsnet Santo next week. Now the Cubs released a list of Ron Santo Week events coming up as well. One strike on DeJesus. Got the Cubs Corner Luncheon coming up early in the week. That'll be on Tuesday at Wildfire. Cubs Fan Fest in Cooperstown. The ceremony itself will be next Saturday and Sunday. The Fan Fest Saturday, the ceremony Sunday. There will be a viewing party on July 22nd here at the Captain Morgan Club at Wrigley Field. And then Ron Santo Day as the Cubs play St. Louis on July 27th, the team's first home game following Ronnie's induction. You can purchase tickets for that game at Cubs.com. Call 1-800-THE-CUBS or purchase the visit the Wrigley Field box office. You wouldn't want to purchase the whole box office. You just want to purchase tickets.
If you purchase the box office, you would always be assured of the first spot in line.
That's true. I don't think it's for sale. Full count, 3-2. Kubel will make the waist-high catch.
Another good grinding at bat by David DeJesus. Something you really like to see. If you think about it, Len, with DeJesus in the #1 spot, seeing as many pitches as he does, and Rizzo in the 3 spot doing the same thing, kind of compensates for Starlin Castro in his aggressive nature hitting in that 2 spot. If you had 3 free swingers at the top of the order, it'd be a lot of very quick innings for opposing pitchers. Although Starlin has shown a lot more patience in the latter stages of the first half of the season.
And it has started to rain again. A 1-1 count. Here's a pitch, fouled off. At this point, whether or not we continue is in the hands of the umpires. The crew chief is Tim McClellan at third base. Cubs have that control before the first pitch is thrown. I don't think it's going to be around very long, or we wouldn't have started at 5. 2 bouncer handled by Drew. And Anthony Rizzo struck out swinging in the first inning.
There'll be one small spot on top of her head that's dry.
About 10 more minutes. Sharply hit ground ball. Aaron Hill backhands. 1-2-3. Third inning for Kennedy in the rain. We go to the fourth. 1-1.
The fourth inning is brought to you by the new. The fourth inning is brought to you by the new Doritos Locos Tacos from Taco Bell.
Hey fans, tomorrow is Culver's Day right here at Wrigley Field as the Cubs take on the Diamondbacks at 12:05. Please note that the game time changed to 12:05. Be sure to arrive early because the first 10,000 fans receive a Cubs hat. Compliments of Culver's. Get Culverized.
Upton, Kubel, Goldschmidt against left-hander Paul Maholm. In a 1-1 tie. Called strike. Mentioned Maholm made his first career relief appearance on Sunday. Scoreless 6. Gave up a couple of hits but no runs. Anthony Rizzo near first for the out. Maholm had made one previous relief appearance in the minor leagues, 4 innings. That was a while ago, way back in 2004 in the Pirates system. The Cubs had a few of their starting pitchers available with the 4 days of the All-Star break. We originally thought Ryan Dempster might start today, but Dale Swain giving him an extra day as he just came off the DL on Sunday. So Ryan will go tomorrow. And Matt Garza on Sunday. Curveball strike on Kubel.
Well, it didn't look like Ryan Dempster missed a beat.
Nope.
He looked really good.
About 27 consecutive scoreless innings, 4 consecutive scoreless starts, and a National League leading 1.99 ERA for Ryan Dempster. Joe Saunders comes off the DL. He had shoulder issues. We won't see Trevor Bauer or All-Star Wade Miley in this series. Bauer will remain with the Diamondbacks and start in their next series. He's the rookie.
And we may see Bauer start to warm up in this series, but he's not going to pitch until the next one. Got a very unusual pregame routine.
He'll be at Cincinnati. Two and two. Josh Colmenter goes back to the bullpen with Saunders coming off the shelf tomorrow. Way out front, Kubel pulled it foul. Foul tip, strike 3. Kubel is fanned twice. 2 down.
Or Nissan pitch tracks, you'll get a look at that last fastball to Jason Kubel. That was a nice job of Paul Maholm of slowing Kubel's bat down by throwing him a series of slow off-speed pitches, and then comes back with an 87-mile-an-hour fastball that he throws right by a pretty good fastball hitter, setting up the strikeout pitch with the 3 previous pitches.
Unique batting stance for Paul Goldschmidt. Hands high, barrel low. Buena. Toss to Rizzo. That'll end the Diamondbacks' 4th. We go to the last of the 4th. It's the Cubs 1, the Diamondbacks 1. Time now for today's AT&T Mobility question. Can you name the only 4 players who've won an MVP and Manager of the Year award? Answer coming up. Well, Kirk Gibson would be an interesting possibility. Maybe a Joe Torre. How about Don Baylor? Diamondbacks hitting coach, former Cub manager.
I'm pretty sure my first manager in the major leagues. Frank Robinson.
Soriano crushes one way out of here onto Waveland, and it's 2-1.
BMO Harris pitch tracks. That is about as centered in the plate as you can possibly imagine. Alfonso Soriano, always a first ball fastball hitter. Oh, no doubt about that one. The only question was whether it was going to stay in the park.
Double and a homer and 2 runs. And the Cubs left fielder outside to LaHare.
Pure crack of the bat right there, man.
No doubter. Jason Kubel, I don't think even moved. Laher pops it up. Bloomquist the catch. Soriano, 356 in his career. First of the month of July, swing and a miss by Soto. Cutter missed, and it's 1-1. Came over from the Yankees in December of 2009. Former first-round pick of the Yanks in 2006. 21st overall pick in that draft. Out of the left center and a base hit. It's going to go to the wall, and Soto will have a two-base hit.
Well, and I mentioned earlier, ground balls rolling through the outfield grass will stop, but line drives like this will hydroplane on that first bounce. That's why it was so easy to make the call that that ball was going to split the gap. That first bounce, ball actually just, like it says, it hydroplanes, hits off that wet grass and scoots even further toward that gap in left center field, all the way to the vines that time.
Runner at second, one out. Pitch to Barney, shows bunt, and he takes a strike. I think there's any question defensively on the infield. The Cubs are getting more outs on ground balls this year. You look at the defensive efficiency team charts. According to Baseball Reference, the Cubs number is better than it was last year. Darwin Barney and Starlin Castro have turned a bunch of double plays. Really appears as though the Cubs' positioning and the overshifting has paid off.
I would agree 100%, Len. I mean, you mentioned Castro and Barney, both very good defenders to begin with, but if you've got to run 15 steps to get to the ball, it's going to make it hard to make an accurate throw back to first base or to second base if it's a double play situation. But if you're positioned properly where the guy is most likely to hit the baseball, maybe you only have to move 2 steps to make the play.
Bat waggle for Barney as he swings at the 2-1 pitch and hits it deep to left, but way foul. I think we would have a chance to talk about other games in progress, but the early East Coast games are just about ready to start. I'm trying to remember, I'm sure there is 1 or 2, but I can't remember a rain delay of 3 hours 40 minutes plus before the first pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3, that I've ever witnessed. You know the longest rain delay you've ever seen? That's a long one.
I believe Noah was involved, but no, I mean, before the start of a game, 3 hours plus. Yeah, usually those games are called.
Well, prior to the new playing surface and the drainage system being installed, this game would have been called.
Oh yeah,
no chance. Montero wants to go talk it over with his pitcher.
You may remember last time Luis Valbuena was at the plate, Montero called timeout to go out to talk to Kennedy. They had a similar situation with first base open, the pitcher on deck. They ended up walking Luis Valbuena last time before Mahalam grounded out to Goldschmidt at first. Go over the scouting report quickly one more time before they decide how they're going to go after Valbuena, if they go after him at all. It's one of those tough at bats for a number 8 hitter. We've talked about it in the past. You have to try to guess along with the other team and what you think they're going to do. Are they going to pitch around me here? Should I just take my walk and let Paul Mahalam get his cut? Should I try to drive this ball and get Gio home with 2 outs in the inning? Well, now with 2 strikes, you eliminate any thinking. You just battle. Comeback sinker starts just off the inside corner. And a good receiving job by Montero to make it look a little better than it really was.
1-2 and a foul tip, strike 3. Soriano led off the inning with a booming home run onto Waveland. And the Cubs have a 2-1 lead as we head to the 5th. Let's answer our AT&T Mobility Trivia question. 4 players who've been an MVP and won a Manager of the Year award.
I think we got them all.
And we did. Pretty good list. Again, Kirk Gibson was never technically an All-Star.
Going to hear some oohs and ahs here at Wrigley Field. Apparently some lightning off in the distance. Just a very light rain right now. Barely noticeable.
Cubs with their first lead of the afternoon. Ball 1 to Montero. Column ready. Outside, 2-1. Gibby won the MVP in '88 with the Dodgers. Later would hit one of the most dramatic game-ending homers in postseason history on Dennis Eckersley. Game 1 of that World Series, could barely hobble around the bases. Bad left hammy and right knee. Pinch hit, 2-run blast. Inside, full, 3-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Go way back. He was an All-American wide receiver at Michigan State. One of the most competitive human beings you'll ever run into.
Yeah, that being said, Len, I was surprised in looking through the Diamondbacks game notes. Not only has Kirk Gibson not been ejected from a game this year, they have had no ejections, no coaches, no players, no managers.
Well, that isn't right.
I think it will change eventually, but you're absolutely right about Kirk Gibson and his competitive nature. It's just in him.
0-1 low on Chris Young. Diamondbacks have an interesting roster, I think. In that, and now with Drew back, you've got guys like Brian Roberts, Jeff Blum, who sit on the bench, but certainly are capable of logging a lot of reps on the left side of the infield. Gerardo Parra won a Gold Glove last year. He might start taking some time away from Chris Young in center. Lyle Overbay, who at one time was an everyday first baseman. The two backups they have, Young takes a called strike 3, or Henry Blanco, the former Cub, and Jeff Blum. But everybody else could play every day if needed.
BMO Harris pitch tracks, backdoor breaking ball right at the knees on the outside corner. Can't throw it any better than that. Good slider from Paul Mulholland for strike 3.
Strike on Stephen Drew. It really looks like Ted Barrett, with the conditions the way they are, he's looking for strikes tonight, and I think that's appropriate.
Well, I checked my notes on Ted Barrett before the game. He tends to not give the high strike, the pitch across the top of the zone, just below the letters. And he's been consistent with that so far tonight. There's been a couple of pitches up there at the top of the zone that he has not given to Ian Kennedy nor Paul Mulholland, but maybe getting a little wider and a little lower at the bottom of the zone.
Aren't we all getting a little wider and a little lower? The way nature works.
Yeah, that's right. Gravity. Ain't it great?
Pulled into right, and Drew has his second hit. He'll get Kennedy to the plate with 2 outs.
To reevaluate the scouting report on Stephen Drew, he's hammered 2 breaking pitches into right field and been right on both of them. Well, a lot of left-handed hitters in baseball, when facing a left-handed pitcher, they'll go to the plate and look for breaking balls, knowing that that opposing pitcher is going to try to get them out with something breaking off the outside corner. That time a hanger in the middle of the plate, and Stephen Drew wrapped it into right field for his second hit of the game.
we want to send a hearty congratulations to our colleague and a huge Cub fan, Eddie Olczyk. This week elected to the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame.
Nice
going, Eddie O.
Yes, indeed.
Blackhawks TV analyst. Well deserved. 1-2 on Kennedy. Nasty lightning strike across the horizon over center field. Here's a 1-2. It's low. Full count, 3-2. Drew takes off and Kennedy fouls away. You see the video of the big thunder boom in Texas?
Oh yeah,
everybody scattered off the field.
Guys were hitting the ground.
Oh man. Oh, the shot of Michael Young. He didn't react at all. This one will also make the seats.
Yeah, you're taught even as a kid that you don't want to be the tallest thing in the area when there's lightning striking around you, and you think about ball players standing out in the middle of a flat surface. I think that's every player's nightmare, especially the pitcher on the mound.
Don't forget the one here against Houston a couple of years ago. Lance Berkman ran into the tunnel and kept going until he got to the clubhouse. Kennedy walks. That keeps the inning alive for Bloomquist. First walk issued by Mahalam.
Kennedy only 1 for 24 on the season as a hitter, but he has drawn now 8 base on balls, which tells you he's got a little bit of an idea what he's doing up there at the plate.
Is the first Arizona State baseball player to play for the Diamondbacks. How about that? That surprises me. I don't think he'll be the last.
I wouldn't think so.
Just joined us. This is not a replay of the game earlier. Live action here after 6 o'clock. Valbuena with that big hop, and he throws to first to end the inning. Diamondbacks strand 2. Now we had a 3:40 rain delay before we started. 2-1 Cubs.
Got it. Thanks, David. Hey, Qdoba is giving the first 20,000 fans a chance to win free food. The Cubs get a base hit in the 5th inning. Fans with a base hit for Burritos game card win a free entree.
Two to one. Cubs leading on the Alfonso Soriano home run in the 4th. Can McClellan and Ted Barrett talk it over? It's been raining pretty steadily over the last 35 minutes or so, but not terribly hard.
And once again, the mound and the home plate area are the two major concerns for the grounds crew, and you can see they've been out between innings doing some patchwork out there, putting some of that drying substance on the mound, make sure the pitchers can keep their footing.
The Mahalam, DeJesus, and Castro here in the Cubs' 5th. This game is official, by the way, even if it were to be tied and the rain washes it out, it would be a suspended game. No more ties in baseball. Hey, Tuesday, Rizzo and the Cubs prepare for a fish fry when Carlos Lee and the new-look Marlins make their Wrigley Field debut. Coverage begins at 6:30 with Subaru Cubs pregame live. Cubs and Fish, Tuesday at 6:30 on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. On this homestand, the Cubs facing two of really the biggest disappointments of the first half. Rob Nyer from SBNation.com giving his 5 biggest disappointments as Mahalam takes a called third. 3 strikeouts in a row now for Kennedy. He puts the Brewers, Diamondbacks, Marlins, Tigers, and Phillies on his list, and I think that's about right.
That sounds right.
And the way he describes the Marlins first half, 2 words: train wreck. They had a huge May. They went 21-8, but April was bad, and they haven't not been good since June. Marlins are 3 games under 500. 9 games out of the East. Jesus pops it up down the left field line. Look out, everybody.
Give an assist to the bullpen mound down there for David DeJesus. Kubel got over there in the vicinity, but realized he was getting close to that mound, broke up his steps, couldn't get to the spot quickly enough. It did land on the field of play, but just out of Kubel's reach.
Here, Andy Lane, the Cubs bullpen catcher. Kennedy attended USC. Was the Yankees minor league pitcher of the year in 2007. In 2009 missed most of that year with an aneurysm near his right shoulder, and then, as we mentioned prior to the following season, was dealt to the Diamondbacks, and then had a career year last year, 21 wins. Got away from him a little bit. 3-2. Castro next. Oh, I saw Singing in the Rain last night. I'm humming that in my head right now. Don't worry, I won't sing it. The 3-2 on the way. Ball 4.
I want to see you dancing down the streets in water puddles.
That's all. Make them laugh. Here's Castro. He's 0 for 2. He's grounded out to short twice.
Every time I hear Singing in the Rain, I think of A Clockwork Orange. Ugh.
Hey, by the way, coming up in the 7th inning, former Cub great Mark Grace will handle the stretch. He'll pop over from the Diamondbacks TV booth, and you're going to head over and do a half inning with Greg Schulte while we chat with Gracie in the bottom of the 7th. I know all your fans back in Arizona need to hear some Bob Brendan. There's Gracie and Greg Schulte, the governor.
The Diamondbacks got into Chicago yesterday, and I believe several members of the traveling party went out and enjoyed the city to its fullest last night.
Oh, yeah. Well, if they had known the game was going to start at 5, may have stayed out a little later.
I don't know if it's possible for them to stay out any later.
I get you.
Well, why not? I mean, I used to talk about it all the time coming in here as a visiting player. It's hard not to have a good time in Chicago. So many great places to eat, meet up with friends.
Lifted high in the air out into left center. And it'll be Chris Young for the second out.
Occasionally we talk about the dusky sky when it's very tough to pick up fly balls, and we're very near that point right now. I didn't see that ball off the bat. I don't know how Chris Young was able to stay with it. Not only looking up into that gray sky, but raindrops falling in your face as you're trying to track that fly ball.
Rizzo at 2 outs. Fouled off. Ben Sheets is back. He's going to start for the Braves on Sunday. Coming back from elbow surgery. His first major league start in almost 2 calendar years. He's pitching with Oakland on July 19th, 2010.
Well, we're done with the Braves now, aren't we?
We are, yes.
Well, I wish him the best. Sheets always a heck of a competitor.
Feathered out into right center. It's going to send DeJesus to third. So Anthony Rizzo has now matched his 2011 hit output on a changeup right there.
Boy, the ability to make an adjustment in mid-swing. Not many power hitters can do this. Changeup off the plate, low and away. Slowed his bat down, got out and around that ball, hit a line drive back to right center field, chasing DeJesus all the way around to third. That was a real nice piece of hitting by young Anthony Rizzo.
18 hits in 13 games. He had 18 and 49 last year.
He gets fooled badly here, but keeps his hands back, reaches out, takes that pitch back to right center field. As I said, not many power type hitters are going to make that kind of a swing after they're fooled by an off speed pitch.
Soriano wasn't fooled a bit on the first pitch of his last at bat. Fastball up, and he took it out to Waveland. And he sends one high and deep again. Young back on the track. Gone! A 3-run homer. What a day for Soriano. I think he's singing in the rain today. 5-1.
Somebody is rested and refreshed after the All-Star break. This time a fastball down and in. Soriano knew he hit it well. Wind still blowing in from left center field. Just enough to get it into that front row of the bleachers, very near the batter's eye in center field. But once again, tremendous solid contact.
The 30th time in his career he's hit at least 2 homers in a game. Double and 2 homers, 4 knocked in, 3 runs for Soriano. Overrun there by Bloomquist. That little notch.
That wind is really pushing the balls back toward the middle of the field right now. Chris Young, as he was battling that fly ball to center field, had to make a several step adjustment right at the end of the play, and Willie Bloomquist got over there in pretty good shape, but the wind pushed that ball back farther toward the field, and he was unable to make the catch. Make it hurt.
Drew is out. Young, though, coming in. Still coming on. Well, the Cubs All-Stars are 0 for 6. But a 7-time All-Star, Alfonso Soriano's 3 for 3, a double, and 2 home runs. And the Cubs lead by 4. Cub fans, come out to Wrigley Field this Sunday to watch the Cubs battle the Diamondbacks in the series finale. Game time 1:20, but be sure to come early. The first 10,000 fans will receive a Cubs LED flashlight, compliments of ComEd. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. Well, Friday the 13th has been Alfonso Soriano's lucky day. He's now in sole possession of 13th place on the Cubs all-time home run list.
About that.
149. He just passed Mark Grace. A 5-1 lead for Paul Maholm, who's trying to beat Arizona for the first time in his career. Came in 0-3 in 6 previous starts. And a called strike. Hill, Upton, and Kubel. 1-2. High fly left field. No problem for Soriano. Congrats to Edwin Encarnacion of the Toronto Blue Jays. Gets a new 3-year, $27 million deal. Will start next year. A fantastic year with the Blue Jays. Deep center. De Jesus with a nice grab to retire Upton.
We get such a great view from up here in the press box line. David De Jesus, it almost seems like he's running before contact is made, but ball off the bat of Justin Upton. He was up to full speed quickly, got to the spot, and turned it into a relatively easy play. And it wasn't easy.
Should note Edwin Encarnacion is a third baseman by trade, but he's only played one game there this year, mostly DH and first base. Kubel with a base hit. After striking out in his first 2 at bats, he singles to keep the 6th alive.
Like Kubel finally gave in a little bit against the breaking ball from Paul Maholm. His first 2 at bats, he tried to pull that pitch consistently, couldn't make contact. One time he struck out on a high fastball after a series of sliders off the plate away. That time just shortened up his swing, went right back with the breaking pitch up the middle of the field for a base hit.
Ball 1 to Goldschmidt. Red Sox get Jacoby Ellsbury back. He's dealing with a partially dislocated shoulder. He'd been out since mid-April. But Adrian Gonzalez say a scratch tonight due to illness. See, Zach Greinke will be 3 starts and 3 team games for Milwaukee. Got ejected on Saturday after what, 4 pitches? Started Sunday, didn't pitch well, and scheduled to go tonight. Lance Berkman will come off the DL tomorrow. Well, the Dodgers are thrilled to get Kemp and Ethier back. Kemp out with a strained hamstring, Ethier with a strained oblique.
I think the Dodgers are still missing D. Gordon, however, their fine young shortstop. Just can't seem to get their entire roster on the field at the same time.
High fly, well hit. Left center, De Jesus on the track. Right in front of the 368. He hauls it in. Goldschmidt just missed. And the Cubs lead 5-1 midway in the 6th.
Hey fans, join the Cubs for selective special event games at Wrigley Field this season. Most event packages include a unique Cubs-themed giveaway item exclusive to that event. The next event is Singles Night in the Budweiser Bleachers next Wednesday night, and that includes an exclusive t-shirt. For more information or to purchase tickets for Singles Night or other events, visit Cubs.com/special events.
Underway in the Cubs' sixth, leading 5-1. This day has belonged to number 12, Alfonso Soriano, with a double, 2 homers, 4 RBIs. Soto has doubled and flied out. Paid crowd here today / this evening, 36,878. As a breaking ball got away from Kennedy and Soto is on.
Just a breaking ball that slips out of the grip of Ian Kennedy, catches Giovanni Soto on the belt loops. If you got to get hit, that's not a bad place.
Big series starting in Cincinnati tonight. Cardinals and the Reds. St. Louis leading 1-0 in the second. Adam Wainwright against Matt Latos. Both teams looking up though at the Pirates. Pirates are in Milwaukee. Pittsburgh leading the Reds by 1. The Cardinals by 2.5. Milwaukee 8 out. Into the gap. It'll be cut off by Upton. What a play. His throw to third is going to be cut off by Drew. It looked like it had 2 bases written all over it, but Upton kept Barney to a single. Cubs, however, in business. At the corners, nobody out.
We talked about the treacherous footing in the outfield. It looked like Upton knocked that ball down with his chest as he went sliding across the grass out there in right center field. Quickly recovered and got the ball back in time to hold Barney to a single, but in the meantime Giovanni Soto moves first to third with nobody out.
That's going to be it for Kennedy, as Kirk Gibson has already made the call. It's like Mike Zagurski, big left-hander coming on. It's a Jeep call to the pin. Cubs leading 5-1, trying to add on here in the 6th. It's the Jeep call to the pin. And it's left-hander Mike Zagorski coming on to face Luis Valbuena.
Well, and a lot of guys really weren't looking forward to the All-Star break because they were on a good roll right before the break, and Zagorski was one of those guys. In his last 6 games before the break, he only surrendered 1 earned run. ERA of 169 over that stretch. You see his numbers on the season.
Diamondbacks' pen has been pretty good lately. They'll move their infield in. Runners at first and third. Turn 2 up the middle. And get a sharply hit ground ball. What a weird day. It's a lot brighter now than it was about an hour ago.
I don't even know if you could call this rain at this point. It's almost like a mist. Just enough.
Here's our AT&T Uverse multi-view. Soto hit by a pitch, and Barney singled. Chase Kennedy out of the game. Down by Montero, 2-1. We certainly didn't see Ian Kennedy at his best. Cubs took it to him 2 times they faced him.
Not sure if that's more of a reflection on Ian Kennedy or the Cubs hitters, because they took advantage of every mistake he made in this ball game today.
Valbuena was doing that on his own as he bunted it foul right at the plate. Is it 3-1?
I think he pulled the bat back in
he
time.
did.
Yeah. It was very close. You're right about him doing it on his own. No question about that. Looked like he was hoping to sneak a safety squeeze in there somewhere.
Oh, he offered at it. Got a break. It's a strike on the outside corner. 3-2.
Perhaps the rain delay strike zone on our BMO Harris Banks pitch tracks. You see that one well off the outside corner. Defensive alignment for the Diamondbacks. As you mentioned, they're playing quite a bit in front of double play depth at second and short, but they're playing in on the corners. Really, you leave it up to your middle infielders to make the determination. Is the ball hit hard enough to turn a double play? Because Giovanni Soto does not run well at third. Should you try to cut the run off at home plate? Good point at this point as Valbuena goes down on strikes.
Bring up Mahalem. You would assume he'll try to get Barney his second with a bunt.
Just the corner infielders and the catcher to the mound that time for the discussion with Zagorski. Talking over defensively what they're going to do in the event of a sac bunt. What if the runner's breaking from third? What if he's not breaking from third? What if he swings away? So everybody wants to make sure they know exactly what's going to happen as the first delivery is made to Paul Mahalem. You'll see happen many times if a team is not sure what the opposing team might do offensively. You throw a pickoff move to first base. See if anybody tips anything off.
Pretty hard to first. Throw goes to the plate. Save! Soto got his foot in. 6-1. O'Hallam will get an RBI.
Pretty good read by Giovanni Soto. He had to hold up momentarily to make sure that ball didn't carry all the way to Goldschmidt in the air. But when he commits to go home, he got a great jump. Gets his foot on the plate. The throw from Goldschmidt home was badly into foul territory, forcing Montero to go get the ball and try a blind tag at home plate. Montero will turn his back completely to the runner here and try to go back to the plate where Gio is going to end up, but can't get there quickly enough. Cubs tack on another run.
First and second, it's to Jesus. He looks at the slider. Or strike one. Mike Zagurski, product of the University of Kansas from Omaha, Nebraska. Former Philly. One and two. Just blown outside. Thanks for hanging with us. We started at 5 o'clock today after a scheduled first pitch of 1:20 because of a 3-hour 40-minute rain delay. This field took on a ton of water. There's a bouncer to short, and they will turn to 6-4-3. And thanks to those watching us on the Armed Forces Network around the world, thanks for all you do. Cubs get one, lead 6-1 after 6.
Turned into a beautiful night here on the north side of Chicago. Little sun peeking through the clouds there. It's time to take a look at our Xfinity high-speed action. Paul Mahalan with a hard bunt to the right side. Paul Goldschmidt's throw on the wrong side of home plate for Miguel Montero. Giovanni Soto with a pretty nifty slide there. Gets on the plate, giving Mahalan an RBI on the bunt.
Mahalan trying to win his 3rd consecutive start. He works into the 7th. And is the sun actually peeking through the grandstand? Oh, yeah.
We start a day game under the lights. Turns into a night game with the sun shining. Go figure.
Mahalan against Montero. He punches at that ball and pops out to Castro. The next WGN Radio Cubs Corner, sponsored by Wintrust Community Banks, is this coming Tuesday at Wildfire in downtown Chicago. Pat Hughes, Ron Santo Jr., Hall of Famer Fergie Jenkins will be there for a special Hall of Fame version of this live WGN Radio broadcast. You can enjoy a great 3-course lunch as well, all for just $55. Tickets are available now, 312-787-9000, or visit Cubs.com. Strike to Young. He's lined out and caught looking on strikes. Right-hander Sean Camp up in the bullpen. Everybody well rested. Kick the pitch. Fly to left. Soriano is there. Again, Mark Grace will conduct the stretch.
Boy, he can really sing too.
I hope he's still got his good wheels, because he's going to finish the inning over on Diamondbacks television and then sprint over here. And now he's coming. Okay. Is he just getting in position?
He's getting in. It could be a train wreck if he leaves their booth and I leave this booth and we crash into each other in the hall. If you don't see the rest of us for the rest of the night, you'll know why.
One and one on Drew. Double and a single. Out into right. And the catch by LaHare. Stretch time. The Captain Morgan's 7th inning stretch.
Today's guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, former Cubs great Mark Grace.
All right. 6 hours later, let's do this. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back. So let's root for the. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it at the old ball game. I love you, Chicago. Did I nail it? Yeah.
You nailed it.
Well, I figured after 6 hours, these people are ready for something. Who's this?
Okay, sure.
Hi, Tamara. How are you, darling? I'm excellent. Thank you. Okay.
All-star Starlin Castro will lead off against Brad Ziegler, new Diamondbacks pitcher, and a base hit. And we have started a new reality series here on CSN called Analyst Swap. As Cubs great Mark Grace is with us. Gracie, always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you.
You're on the all-century Cubs team as the first baseman, and I know it's always fun for you to be back here at Wrigley Field.
Oh, man, this is a special place. There's no question. 13 years. 13 years I was patrolling that first sack down there, and yeah, I can't believe that it's been I haven't gone 0 for 4 in this ballpark since 2000. It's been 12 years since I left this awesome city and this awesome organization.
The great thing is you get to come back here at least once a year, and the Diamondbacks are here, and you get the numbers for Brad Ziegler. It's been an interesting day. Can't remember too many 3-hour, 40-minute delays before we actually started. And we were talking during the rain delay on this playing surface you played on as Rizzo swats one into left. Cubs with 2 on, nobody out. This game never would have been played on the old surface.
No, on the old surface that I played on, it drained pretty well. Honestly, Lenny, it drained pretty well. But that amount of rain that fell today for the Cubs and Diamondbacks to be able to play this baseball game, and how about the fans? Nobody left. Everybody an opportunity to give Alfonso Soriano a much-deserved standing ovation, because I don't know if you know this, Len, but Soriano has never made an out against the Arizona Diamondbacks.
He's had a good career against you guys. Yep. You're right. 3 for 3 with a double and 2 home runs, and he takes a strike.
Yeah, this one would have certainly been in the rain out books in my playing days here. How's my old buddy Bob Brennan?
Is he
behaving himself?
Yeah, he's coming back from about a 10-day vacation. He got a chance to go watch Michael, his son, at AA Tennessee. Fly to left. Kubel coming over. It'll get down. It's fair. How about another double?
A ground rule
4
double.
Extra base hits. Soriano with 12 total bases. Knocks in another run. He's unconscious today.
He's hit fastballs, change-ups. Now he hits a submarine slider just off the end of the bat, and Kubel was playing him towards the gap, and he just runs out of room. When you run out of room at Wrigley Field down the line, I mean, it gets dangerous.
I got to ask you about the cycle, because several Cubs have come within 1 hit of picking up the first cycle in team history since yours in 1993. Gerardo Parra, by the way, is going to come out mid-inning.
Yeah, this is strange. It makes you wonder if Jason Kubel may have hurt himself on that. Like we said, when you run out of room down the left field or right field lines, it starts to get dangerous for a corner outfielder. And maybe Kubel's just.
He's been around a lot out there, and Kirk Gibson saw something he didn't quite like when he got near that barrier.
Well, one thing about Jason Kubel, it's never going to be because of lack of effort. He comes to work every day and plays the game hard every day. So it's not one of those old Reggie Jackson replacements by Billy Martin. Right. It has to be either an injury or something.
On Laher. Yeah, the cycle.
Yeah, let's talk about me a little bit.
Sure. Against the Padres in 1993. Give us the highlights.
Okay. 19. That was against. How about this? This is a little name from the past. The manager, as that was tapped down the first base. Now it's going to lead to another run.
And the ball gets away from Goldschmidt. Tried to apply the tag. 8-1.
So 1993, the manager of the San Diego Padres was our old buddy Jim Riggleman. He was managing the Padres, and I just remember that the cycle was great, but we lost. We lost 5-4.
That's
so
something.
Yeah, I ended up hitting a 2-run or 3-run home or something like that in the 9th inning to get the cycle, and it was after the game. They were like, "Hey, you hit for the cycle and all that." I'm like, "Well, yeah, that's fine and good, but I obviously didn't do enough because we lost the ball game." So it was a great moment for me personally, but at the end of the day, it took a lot of the fun out of it not winning the ball game.
No question. Scott Hairston did it for the Mets earlier this year at Colorado, and the Mets lost the game 18-9. Aaron Hill hit for 2 within 12 days. Go
How about
figure.
that? And the last time that somebody hit for 2 cycles in a season was back in 1932. It was some guy that, well, none of us have ever heard of, but he was pretty popular that year. But and he did it within 12 days, like you said. So that's beyond historic what Aaron Hill did.
First and third, still nobody out. Giovanni Soto at the plate, and he fouls back. We're with former Cubs great Mark Grace. You've been broadcasting for a while. You've had a lot of success at it. You're very good at it.
Well, thank you.
When you were a player, when you started out, did you say to yourself, when I'm done, I want to be a broadcaster?
No, not really. Not really. I didn't. One thing I did find out is just how difficult it can be to do what you've done for so long, then. And you've got Bob Brenly and he and Steve Stone down on the south side are the 2 best in the business, if you ask me. I was fortunate to, in my playing days, have an icon in Harry Carey call most of my games, and then along with Steve Stone. So, the Cubs have been in good shape as far as that's concerned, broadcast-wise for a while. And did the Cubs make an out?
They made an out.
What is going on?
Well, they knew you were going to join us, so they wanted to give you as much time as possible with us. That's the first out of the inning, second and third now.
But you find out that up here, Lynn, boy, that game looks easy down there, doesn't it?
Sure does.
Pitchers don't look like they're throwing that hard. Hitters don't look like they're as big and strong as they actually are. Balls don't look like they're hit so hard. But boy, you have to remind yourself, and I had to remind myself, even though I played this game a long time, it's not easy. It's a very difficult game to play at this level. These are the greatest players in the world out there pitching and hitting. And it is very difficult to do, and you have to remind yourself of that when you're up here in the booth.
Infield still in, and Barney swings and misses. We've been lucky on the north side, going back to when you started playing every day at first base. We had some great defensive first basemen. You, Derek Lee, Carlos Pena was only here for a year last year, but I'll tell you, Anthony Rizzo can handle himself defensively.
I've seen his number, his hitting numbers. He looks like he's going to be a terrific hitter. And, that's what you think about when you think about Cub left-handed first base. You just think power. It just every time you just think power, stolen bases. That's the kind of thing that me and Anthony Rizzo are going to, certainly going to bring to Cub fans again. But he's going to be so much better than I ever was. The Cubs are in, I think. The future is bright. It's going to take a little while, but the future's bright, don't you think?
I think it is. As Barney sends a fly ball to left, it is hooking foul. That's a process. It's going to take a couple of years. I don't think there was any illusion that this team would necessarily contend this year. There have been a lot of changes since the season started. And Kerry Wood retired earlier this year. And how would you cap his Cubs career?
One of my favorite teammates of all time. I really enjoyed playing with him, playing behind him. Obviously that special game, the 20 strikeout game. In baseball lore, that is considered the greatest game ever pitched. Now I've seen some perfect games. We've seen some perfect games this year. I played behind Randy Johnson's 20 strikeout game, so I'm very fortunate. I got to play behind 2. And not even close. Kerry Woods was much more dominant. Randy Johnson gave up a couple runs in his 20 strikeout game. Kerry Wood, it was the biggest. Go ahead and take this one, Lenny.
All right, shallow right, and the catch by Hill, everybody holds.
That was actually a pretty good play right there.
It really was.
Aaron Hill right there to save a very important ninth run for the Chicago Cubs. But that was the biggest 2-0 blowout I think I've ever been a part of. It was 2-0, but those Houston Astros got blown out that day because of Kerry Wood, and that was also a Houston Astros team, Len, that was really good, really good. I'm talking Bagwell, Biggio, Moises Alou, Derek Bell. I mean, that was those killer bee Houston Astro teams that were fantastic. They weren't fantastic that day against Woody.
That was the nastiest breaking ball I've ever seen.
Along with about 98 miles an hour worth of gas,
no doubt.
And he was 20 years old and he struck out his age.
Well, we played during a rain delay recently, the final 3 or 4 innings of the Astros at bats. He went 3-0 on 3 or 4 guys, and then kept getting checked swings on 3-1, 3-2. And I talked to Dave Clark, who was in that game with the Astros. He said guys wanted to swing the bat. They wanted to get hits, and they just couldn't hold up. Everything looked like a strike.
Everything looked like a strike, but it was just past him, or like you said, the nastiest breaking ball.
Well, that's going to end the inning. But, Mark, you're
Len,
still
you
very
much.
popular. Always a Cub here. Great to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Mark Grace, everybody. We'll be back.
Don't miss the action as the Cubs take on the Marlins next Thursday, July 19th, right here at Wrigley Field. Game time is 1:20, but be sure to get to the park early. The first 10,000 fans will receive Cubs sunglasses, compliments of Pepsi. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com.
Manny Corpus is on. Paul Mahalem's 7 solid innings, 6 hits, 1 run. Corpus will face switch hitting Jeff Blum, who will pinch hit with Ziegler. And welcome back, partner.
Yeah, good to be back.
How's Greg Schulte doing?
Oh, Greg's doing great. The governor.
Enjoyed chatting with Mark Grace. That's right. He hit for the cycle in a game the Cubs lost against the Padres. I had to bring it up since we always refer to that game. The Cub gets within 1 hit.
And Gracie loves to talk about turning triples into doubles.
Well, what's more impressive, a cycle or what Alfonso Soriano's done today? 2 homers, 2 doubles. He's got 12 total bases. A cycle is 10.
I like the noise that Alfonso's made today.
I do too.
Whew. I mean, right before his last double to drive in another run down in the left field corner, I told Greg Schulte, we've seen enough of Alfonso Soriano to know that when he gets in one of his hot streaks, he can hit 7, 8, 9, 10 home runs in a week, square the ball up nearly every at bat, and at about that time, on command, dunks another double down the left field line.
Corpus with a 1-2. Low.
I mean, obviously Soriano having the most impressive day for a Cub hitter, but how about that at bat by Anthony Rizzo? Once again, driving the ball to the opposite field with authority, something you rarely see power hitters do. And I think Anthony Rizzo is a good hitter with power rather than a power hitter that will occasionally get his base hits. He's going to always get his base hits. And if you make mistakes, he's liable to hit it out of the ballpark. But his willingness to drive that ball to left field, take it back up the middle, that will assure him of maintaining a high average.
Two on the veteran Jeff Blum. Looked foul. With a win today, Paul Maholm would grab his 7th of the year to lead the team. Right now, he and Jeff Samardzija each have 6.
Not quite as nerve-wracking to face Jeff Blum in this particular situation. I know you and I both have seen him do a lot of damage against the Cubs in the past, either off the bench or as a part-time starter. Just always seems to hit well against the Chicago Cubs.
World Series hero with the White Sox in 05. Stays alive. See, one homer away from 100. He pops it up. They have the shift on. Castro now back over toward his normal position, makes the catch.
Time to take a look at our Coors Light freeze cam. Well, I mean, just a center cut fastball right off the sweet spot of the bat with a little bit of an uppercut swing. No doubt where that one was headed. And then in the rain, gets a fastball down and in. Hit it off the same spot of the bat with the same result. A high arcing home run just to the left to straightaway center. Somebody got their rest over the break.
Tapper foul, 0-2.
I'll tell you, Manny Corpus has been a real nice addition to the Cubs bullpen. We know that Dale Swaim has all the confidence in the world in James Russell and Sean Camp, but it's nice to have that third arm down there, somebody that you have equal confidence to come in and face righties and lefties.
Barney is out, and the basket grab. Hill 1 for 3. Looks like it's going to be Patrick Corbin, a left-hander for the Diamondbacks in the bottom of the 8th. 2-0 the count. Raining in Atlanta in the second inning. 2-0 the Braves lead the Mets. Starlin has it. Manny Corpus with a 1-2-3-8. All Cubs today. 8-1. Cap, thank you. Tomorrow, the excitement of Major League Soccer is on Comcast Sportsnet. Don't miss a minute of the action as the Fire look to put the burn on the Whitecaps at Toyota Park. Coverage begins at 7 with Chicago Fire pregame live. Fire and Whitecaps tomorrow night at 7 on Comcast Sportsnet. New left side of the infield, Jeff Blum at third. That moves Bloomquist to short. Drew is out. And Pat Corbin on the mound to face pinch hitter Joe Mathers. Swings at the first one and rolls to Aaron Hill. One away. Another batting for Corpus. Ball in there for a strike. Keep an eye on Steven Strasburg, the All-Star. Nationals continue to say that he gets to 160 innings. That's it. Talked to MLB Network Radio. He said they're going to have to rip the ball out of my hands.
Does his work in the All-Star game count against his innings?
Quote from Buster Olney from the ESPN the magazine. If the Nationals actually do that, meaning ending his season, I'll actually have more respect for them because that's going to take some serious guts.
Oh, yeah.
And he's right. I think they will. Chop to first. That'll take Goldschmidt right to the base.
Tickets are still available for the 2012 Cubs season, including this homestand against the Diamondbacks and Marlins. I want to remind you, for fans attending tomorrow's game versus the Diamondbacks, please note that the time changed to a 12:05 game start. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com, call 1-800-THE-CUBS, or visit the Wrigley Field box office.
Castro 1 hit and 4 tries. And fastball at 93. Indians pitcher Nick Hagedorn, a lefty, is going to be out a couple of months at least. Had to have surgery because of a broken pitching arm. The Indians say he injured it in frustration. So he's gone to the minor leagues, and he's now on the minor league disqualification list, and the Indians are claiming they don't have to pay him while he's sidelined. I'm sure the union will get involved. You had Hanley Ramirez right before the All-Star break. In fact, the final day of the first half, had to take 2 stitches in his hand. I guess he hit a dugout cooling fan out of frustration after making an out. Ozzie Guillen called it childish. That's pretty frustrating when guys injure themselves in frustration, but you're laughing at the irony of
Ozzie calling somebody childish. Yeah, okay.
Well, he did.
Well, we've talked about it many times. The wall is undefeated. Everybody gets frustrated with their own performance or lack of success, and you feel like punching a wall, but especially with your throwing arm. I mean, I remember seeing Mike Hampton get frustrated down in Houston and beat the living daylights out of things, but always with his right hand. He would never use his throwing hand.
The funny thing about that, though, if you've lost your mind to the point where you want to smash something, do you really have the presence of mind to make sure you don't do it with an important limb?
No. That's one good thing about being a manager. It didn't matter that I could throw or not anymore. I could hit with either hand. And boy, did I.
Castro chased a breaking ball or a changeup, and he strikes out. Cubs go quietly in the 8th, but they have a big lead as we head to the 9th.
Yeah. I'm all for that.
Thursday, hang with Comcast Sportsnet. The Miller Lite Baseball viewing party come to Deuces and the Diamond Club in Wrigleyville to win prizes. Enjoy Miller Lite and watch Chicago take on Miami. Be there Thursday afternoon at 1:20 at Deuces and the Diamond Club, 3505 North Clark in Wrigleyville. Mather stays in and plays right. And Sean Camp already making his 44th appearance.
He hasn't given up a run since June 18th against the White Sox, spanning 11 games and 11 1/3 innings pitched. Talk about a change in fortune. Sean Kemp, released out of spring training by the Mariners, probably had no idea what his future held, and there he is as a mainstay in the Cubs bullpen throughout the first half of the season, and I'm sure throughout the second half as well.
0-1 on Upton. He needs to get his fingernails cut. He's been here a long time. Well, as Ernie Banks might say, let's play one. And the Cubs and Diamondbacks were able to do that today. We had our doubts as the skies opened up and flooded this ballpark, but as we've talked about throughout the day, the grounds crew did a fantastic job. This field drained very quickly. And here we are in the 9th inning with the Cubs leading 8-1.
I mentioned at the time, Len, that these are the kind of ball games that occasionally will lead to a sloppy game because the players had to wait so long for the start time, and it apparently affected the Diamondbacks a lot worse than it did the Cubs. They made some sloppy mistakes in this ball game today.
He got him right down the middle. Strike 3.
Comeback sinker on our Nissan pitch track, starts it just off the outside corner. That one's all over the plate at the knees. Nice pitch by Sean Kemp. A rough day for Justin Upton. Grounded into a double play back in the first inning. A pop up to first, pop up to center, and now a strikeout looking against Sean Kemp.
Parra's first at bat, probably only at bat, and then to play left in the middle of the bottom of the 7th, which we found interesting. You were over on Diamondbacks television at the time. Not sure if Jason Kubel tweaked anything or not.
When he got that base hit in the 6th inning, he got to first base. I noticed that he bent over at the waist with his hands on his knees for a long time. Eric Young, the first base coach, came over to talk to him, but stayed in the game.
Castro thought better of it and didn't make a throw. It's a hit for Parra.
Good decision by Starlin Castro. That's a play that perhaps last year he might have tried to wing that ball from shallow left field, but realized that Parra coming out of that left-handed batter's box, he runs pretty good. Starlin had to cover a lot of ground just to get to it, take a couple extra steps to get ready for that jump throw, but no future in making that play. Just hang on to it.
And after our game, we will send you out to Kansas City. White Sox leading the Royals 3-0. They're in the top of the 2nd. Adam Dunn and Alex Rios with home runs in the first off Bruce Chen. I assume the White Sox All-Stars, they just stayed in Kansas City. About 7 nights in KC. 2-2.
Well, by all reports, Kansas City really did it right for the All-Star game this year. I talked to Dave McKay for a long time before the ball game today, and he was highly impressed with the way the city and the organization handled the entire event. Not an easy thing to do.
Well, the only thing that you could complain about, it thought it got a little gratuitous in the home run derby when they continued to boo Robinson Cano. It seemed to be that it was because he didn't put Billy Butler on the American League home run team, but Get the feeling MLB is going to rectify that by putting one of the hometown guys on the home run derby team. It will not turn 2 as Parra was running on the 3-2. So that's the second out.
I really think they need to find a way to make the home run derby just a little bit longer.
Add another round?
Yeah, or 2 or 5 or 10. Jeez. I was exhausted. I was just sitting there watching it.
By the end of it, if you hit a ball out of the infield, it's a home run.
Get those movable fences and start out at normal depth and just keep sliding them in every round.
Montero bounces to Rizzo. He will flip to Camp. Cubs win. Well, we waited and waited and waited some more, but once we got underway, the Cubs dominated the Diamondbacks and beating them for the first time this year. I don't think there's any doubt about our GMC player of the game, as Alfonso Soriano had his best game of the year by far. 2 doubles, 2 homers.
And as good as we've seen him swing the bat this season, and that's saying something because Fonzie's had some real good stretches in the first half. Hopefully this is a foreshadowing of what we can see in the second half of the season.
Great to have you back, partner. Great work by our entire crew, headed by John Walsh, Dave Turner, Tamara Anderson, our tech manager Mark Harper, our executive producer Jim Cornell Jr. Len and Bob saying so long from Wrigley Field. The final score, the Cubs 8, the Diamondbacks 1. We're back on CSN Tuesday at 6:30. Ozzie Guillen and the Miami Marlins come to Wrigley Field. In-game scoring provided by ScorePad. You've been watching Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet, now part of the NBC Sports Group.